now that we got us straight, the tech stuff out the way,
Right.
we will now begin our interview.
All right.
And this is Finding Elijah, the interview with Yolanda Johnson-Young. Yolanda, thank you for allowing me to see your film prior to the September 29th debut on WHYY TV, which will begin at 7:30 p.m. While viewing the film, I was so proud to see everything you learned about filmmaking in such a short period of time put into it. I mean, by the time I got to 15 minutes and 36 seconds of viewing your film, I cried because I saw the funeral program, and I
Yeah.
remembered that I had just looked at the program a few months ago. I was trying to make sure I put it in a safe place, while I was cleaning up downstairs.
Yeah.
So, for the record, this is my first interview where I'm this closely involved or aware of the actual facts. So, I'm going to do my best to remain professional, objective, and on topic with no tea.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
First question. When you embarked on the Finding Elijah project, what was your primary objective?
Primarily, well, first I want to thank you for having me. Number one, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
very important. It's very important to have these conversations. And the first thing that came to mind after losing Elijah was just as a grieving parent, that people weren't going to get to know him, and not long after starting that journey, I realized that this project would be able to help other people too.
Yeah. Were you surprised to see how well received this project had become with all the recognition from various film festivals and advocacy groups?
Yes, because I was not I didn't go to college for filmmaking, and I'm sure there is the criteria under which you learn filmmaking. There are they talk about monetizing your film and theatrical releases of your film, and none of that was in my mind when I made the film. Like I said,
Right.
it was just as a grieving parent, I wanted to share my son, which quickly turned into maybe I can help people with this. So I have been pleasantly surprised by the attention that the film is getting. And for me, I think that's most important, the attention, because it causes people to have those conversations.
Right. Have your other sons seen Finding Elijah? And if so, what has been their response?
The only one that has seen it is Benjamin, who is my 12-year-old, who is 9 years old when Elijah passed away. I was in therapy, and my therapist explained to me, she said, everyone heals at their own pace, so they have not seen it. His father has not seen it, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes I guess it's that like artists, especially recording artists, if they're big in Philadelphia, but they can't just get that big break, so they go outside of their region and they get what they need, and then they come back. So I'm hoping that the way things are going, that perhaps it'll be that type of situation. Eventually, I hope that they will see it.
Okay. Well, we all know that Elijah lived his life in 20 short years. He traveled to places you and I may have never thought of visiting, like, for example, Russia. What ran through your head when you saw his luggage with the Soviet Union tags on them?
Yo, that I was like, Elijah went to Russia? Like, what was he doing in Russia? But I quickly kind of put it together with the transportation that's now defunct. They no longer exist. They have been absorbed by, I guess it's called Juno. I did a little bit of research, tried to reach out to some people there, but they didn't have any information. But I believe this is another thing. While he was there in Russia, I found a receipt from McDonald's. 20 cheeseburgers, 20 fries, 20 drinks. So I'm like, either he was feeding the homeless or maybe he was training people for the job, the transportation company. So I still don't have all of the answers. I probably will never have all of the answers. And that's something that I have to be okay with. I have to be okay with that to continue going, but he did some amazing things. I still have quite a few devices that I need access to. So,
Oh, gotcha.
mhm.
When you went to New York to learn more about what happened to Elijah, you walked the streets that he walked, you touched the elevator buttons that he touched, and so much more. What did that feel like for you?
It definitely, I wanted to see what he saw. I wanted to experience the things that he experienced there. It was definitely, I think the worst part about it, the hardest part for me was leaving, when we were leaving New York that evening, because I couldn't take him home with me at that moment. And I remember being in the car and it just felt like I could breathe. It felt like my soul was being snatched out and pulled back to New York as we were driving away. It was the oddest feeling, but I was able to meet some of his roommates at the youth shelter that he was staying at. And it's crazy that I didn't use any of that. I didn't use any of that in the film. I have those videos and photos that we took when we met those young men. And yeah, I have a bag of receipts that Elijah had. And, with technology that we have today, I can do a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego map and pinpoint ding, 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 places where he went. I'm trying really hard not to allow it to take my mind over, and every project that I do is about Elijah. I'm really trying to pull back a little bit, you know, um, because the loss that we endured did a number on my mental. It was like he can't be gone. So just trying to keep myself even keeled, with the projects that I choose to do that involve Elijah. It's something that I have to work on daily.
I can imagine.
Mhm.
Wow. We're going to run the promo real quick.
Elijah was just fun. He was my July 4th baby. It's trying to navigate through the loss of someone by suicide. You're just lost. What advice would you give a young black man? What would you tell him?
It always starts with it's okay, right? It's okay. It's okay to feel.
Miss Lonnie. You mentioned wanting to give Elijah a voice. What do you think would be one of his most important messages?
Well, the message I think in the film is that he was not okay, and he was not. I just don't think he was able to say that he wasn't okay. And hopefully the overall story will help other people understand that it is okay to say that you're not okay and that you need help. I think that's one of the messages that I try to use his voice to get across to the people.
That's powerful. Elijah was so creative and had the talent to match. So, how do you think he would critique your work in covering his story?
The reality is that I say something at the end of the film, like he knew how I would do this. We were we have a corner house here in West Philadelphia, and if something happens outside, he was number one, would turn the lights out and get to the window, like, let's see what's going on, you know, let's find out. So he knew that, I believe that he knew that I would advocate for him and others like him by using his story. I believe he knew that, you know.
I agree. I agree. Okay, well, Miss Yolanda, with your first award-winning film under your belt, what's next for you?
Well, you know, I have a couple of things that I'm doing. One is also based around Elijah. It was a standalone art installation. You know, I frequent the Black Star Film Festival, and I guess it was 2018, the year after he passed away. I'd gone to a workshop, Afrofuturism, how the Black experience intersects with science fiction.
Oh, wow.
I left that workshop, the top of my head was blown off. You know, I was like, oh, okay. So Elijah left a lot of writing, you know, and some of it's very difficult to read, but if he felt that way, I'm sure there are others who feel that way. So in my mind, I'm working to have his writings analyzed by mental health professionals to answer, maybe formulate some of his writings into questions and have the mental health professional formulate the answers, and then go through like this science fiction stuff, you know, and some of it for folks who haven't had loss in their life, you know, they may not understand where I'm coming from, but I can't allow what other people think to stop me from doing what I need to do to work through my feelings and work through the healing process. And if I can help other people along the way, then that's just like a cherry on top, you know? So I'm thinking of doing like an art installation, Elijah the Prophet, maybe like a Max Headroom type situation. Roger Ebert lost his voice through a surgery there, and they vocalized the alphabet with the likeness of his voice. So I'm really trying to go completely there with it. The
Okay,
mental health
okay.
professional
All
has
right.
already formulated.
We're not going to let you give too much more of that out because you know how I am about protection of ideas and concepts. Okay, so
Okay, all right. So we can
universe,
take some of that
you
off. You
only
can edit
heard
some of
part
that
of
out.
that. We're going to edit some of that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
edit some of that out. But
because
yes, that's
I'm
definitely.
excited. I'm very excited for the fire that still rages in you.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know that Elijah is proud of his mother. I know
Uh,
this, you know, so keep doing your thing. Thank you so much for a
Thank
fantastic
you.
interview. And I can't wait until everyone gets to tune in. Say it again, Tuesday,
Tuesday,
September.
September 29th at 7:30 on WHYY. It's Philadelphia's public broadcast station.
All right, that's a wrap. That was beautiful.